What's up everybody, this is Night Viper, and today we are talking about Tent Wars. So if you don't know what that is, it is where two alliances come up with an agreement on Enemy Elimination Day that instead of killing each other and plundering each other's resources, setting each other back, they're actually just going to attack each other's relocation tents, and they're going to garrison people inside of there. There's two benefits to that. One, you don't lose troops. Two, you don't lose resources, but you're still making the same amount of points that you would be making, if not more, than if you were to just attack random fortresses from the other team. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you're notified when I come out with the next video with the latest tips from Last Fortress. So let's jump into it. Okay guys, so how do you set up a tent war? In this video, I'm going to go over the basics of that. I'm not going to go into crazy detail because I want you guys just to have the facts so you can start a tent war today if you want to. I'll do another video that shows a lot of the gameplay and stuff like that later on. So for right now, what you need to know is your alliance and another alliance are in a duel together for this week, and you're on Enemy Elimination Day. Instead of killing each other, you're setting up this tent war. The way you're going to do that is you guys are all going to move to a neutral city together. You'll be on one side, they'll be on another side, and I'll show you what that looks like. Basically, it's going to look like this. You got both teams finding a neutral city together, you're all coming there. In that city, you're actually going to be building two things. You're first going to build your fortress, and then you're going to build your relocation tent. Your leader of your alliance can actually put markers to show you where you're supposed to do that, like this. So in this case, our leader put move here for tent wars because we're kind of away from the city. After you relocate there, you're going to build your construction down here. It's closer to the city, and that's where all the action's going to happen. So this is an example of what that might look like. I moved my fortress to the neutral city. I kept it a little ways away though, like you saw on the other marker, and I relocated my, I put my relocation tent over here. They're relatively close together, and that way I can re-garrison that tent repeatedly throughout this war. What'll happen is you'll have the enemies come in and hit your tent. If you lose, your lineup will get sent back to your fortress. And so you have to restock your lineup and send it back to this tent. And if you're 20 minutes away, it's a waste. You're really not going to have any participation in this war. So if you want points, move your fortress to the neutral city, set up your relocation tent, and now we got to talk about what's going in the relocation tent. How do you actually use your lineups? Inside the relocation tent, you're putting your main lineup. Your strongest heroes, your strongest lineup is going in the relocation tent. That's who they are attacking. Your attackers, the people in your lineups that are attacking them, is going to be your second and third lineup. So primary lineup in your relocation tent, second and third lineup attacks their tents. That's the setup of tent wars. So typically when you hit their tents, you're most likely going to lose because they have people garrisoned in their tents that are going to be bigger than you. When they hit your tents, they're going to lose. It's a trade-off. The way that you can kind of help yourself in this system is have your teammates and you garrison each other. You can actually click on your teammates' tents and aid them, send a lineup over to them. If you coordinate it properly, you can be doing both, taking hits in your line, in your actual relocation tent, and then once the person leaves, you can move over to their relocation tent and protect them from getting hit. It's a lot of movement, a lot of coordination in between, but you get used to it as you go. So it's a good way to make extra points and to make sure that your team is making more points than the other team. So that's basically how a tent war works. You guys are all moving to a neutral city. You're going to have your fortress there. You're going to put your relocation tent there. You're putting your primary lineup into your relocation tent, and you're attacking their relocation tents with your second and third lineup. You can help garrison your teammates. There's a couple other things you could do to make this run more smoothly. For example, set up a chat room for both alliances to come together, discuss the rules, and that way everybody's on the same page. As you can see, this was somebody from the other alliance, and they went through the rules, and they actually posted this a few times during the battle, and that way if anybody just jumped in, they would know what the rules are. So that was pretty smart. It kept everybody on the same page. When you're ready for them to attack you, you actually just put your location, your coordinates in the chat. That will signify to them that you have people garrisoned in the tent, because if you hit a tent and there's nobody in it, you don't get any points for it. And the point of this is to make all the points you can for the elimination duel. Okay, I want to go over two more things with you guys. The first one is how do you prepare your fortress for a tent war, and the second one, I want to show you some combat records so that you guys will be able to see this in action, like how the numbers actually add up, how you're making points, and that nobody's dying. So first up, you want to make sure that your infirmary is full of meds. You want this to be maxed out as much as you can. This is actually post-war. The video here is being recorded after the tent war happened, so these are obviously my meds being built back up. I used them all. I don't have any herbs. Used them all. Building these meds back up. You want to max these out, both, and that way you can not only use more people in the tent war, but you can recuperate faster. To prove that, I have nobody in the infirmary. Everybody's gone. There may be some other teammates that have weeks of healing to do, whereas I don't have any healing to do, and that's because I had my meds full. I used my moon phase, this guy up here. I kept him at 100% and used him to cut down on time. I had assistance from teammates to cut down on time. There's a bunch of other things that you can do with upgrading your seasonal facilities and research. I put that in another video with Alliance Duels. You can check it out if you want. That'll go over that side. For now, just know, keep your meds stocked and don't max out your infirmary. That is the only way somebody will die in tent wars, is if you actually max your infirmary out, which is this number here. So if I ended up having over 1,083 people in here, the next person that comes in, they die. So that is the only way you're going to lose people. You keep your meds going. Once the meds stop, that's your cue to be done with tent wars. So if you're ever curious or anybody asks, like, hey, when is the stopping point for this? That's when it is, when your meds run out. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is the combat records, so you can see this is legit. People aren't dying. So let me show you that. I'm going to go over here to, where am I? Wrong button. I'm going to go here to the combat record. I'm going to scroll down a few because I have a few of these that I saw that will show different examples. So I got this Stormbreaker guy in different ways. In this situation, he attacked my tent. I had my main lineup, he had his secondaries, I won. I got as if I killed 500 people. I had some people grievously wounded, so did he, but look at the killed in action. Nobody's killed in action, and we both made points for kills. Same guy, different situation. I attacked him. He ended up getting some kills, I ended up getting some kills. Nobody actually died though, like you get points for the kills, but nobody died. And grievously wounded are here. You'll notice whenever I lost, I didn't get that many kills. Whenever he lost, he got more. That's because this guy's about 1 million CP more than me. Now, if we were actually fighting on a regular alliance battle, he probably would have killed all my people and taken my resources. But because it's a tent war, you guys have a better chance of making points. That's what this is for. It kind of evens the odds a little bit. I want to show you another one here. Everything's zeroed out, but the tent took damage. What happened here was I was attacked, but there was nobody in the tent. That's why the chat's important. You put your location in the chat, signifying that you have people there for somebody else to hit. Then they can click on that location, it'll take them right to your tent, and they can attack it. It won't end up like this. The only other reason for it to end up like this is if 2 cars come at the same time, somebody else hit right before this guy, which this guy was very active. I'm actually sure that that's what happened with him. Last one, we have same guy actually. Let me find it right here. So killed in action. This is the same tent war. In this situation, I'm garrisoning one of my teammates' tents, but one of their infirmaries filled up, and that's what led to people dying. So that's why it's important. Don't let your infirmary fill up because your soldiers will die at that point. Use your meds. When your meds run out, tent war is done, like I said. So here's the end result of a tent war. There are scores. These scores are actually pretty high. I made more points in this tent war than I would have in a regular enemy elimination challenge. Like I was saying before, it's because in a regular challenge, you're dropped into the main city. You're going to take the city shore. This is actually without taking the city. This is just the tent war. Nobody's taken a city yet. You get like an extra 1 million points for that. But in a regular enemy elimination, you're dropped into the city, and if you're able to kill the people that are in there, you're just kind of searching for them and hoping that they haven't pulled their troops off their lineup. It's a lot more searching, a lot less results. So a tent war is going to get you continuous results. It's guaranteed results because you guys are setting it up that way. So this is the result by the end of the tent war. Now that's the end of the tent war, not the end of the elimination day. These guys went on to end up going beast mode, and they did a bunch of other fighting with other alliances, and they ended up beating us. You saw that they were beating us there. They ended up beating us on this line too. I think I ended up in 4th place or something like that. But still, 1st place by doing a tent war with more points than I would have had if I had done a regular enemy elimination. So this is definitely a win. That is all the information I have for you on a tent war. If you have questions, leave it in the comment section. I have other videos that you could check out, like the Alliance video that will explain more about healing and the different things that you can use to up your points, like the Alliance Duel cards or research. So check that video out. Make sure you subscribe, and that way you're notified on the next video that I come out with. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Now you guys know how to set up a tent war and the ins and outs of it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.